What's up, homies? Welcome back to another reaction from Heroes Reforged. The time has come for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This is going to be our new 6-week journey going through all of these episodes. We had an amazing time doing all 9 of WandaVision. You can see the full reactions on Patreon. You'll also be able to find the fully uncut reaction of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier on our Patreon as well. Link down in the description. And I am just so excited to get onto the journey and head back to Prague.
Hey, ooh.
Yeah.
Will we get to see it in the first episode? Will we get to see? I'm not sure. I'm not telling. I've seen the first episode because I got to do the press junket and talk to the director and writer of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the head writer and the director of all 6 episodes. And those interviews are over at Nerdist. You can go check those out. That would be great. But they were super nice and super great. I love the first episode, and I cannot wait to rewatch it with you guys to be able to talk about what happens in it. I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
I still haven't processed my emotions for WandaVision, so I don't know.
We're already moving on to something else.
We're already moving on, but as always, watch to the end of the video. We'll be talking about what we think. We'll be talking about our non-resolved emotions. Whenever you guys are ready, I'm ready to hit play.
Let's go.
Count us
I'm gonna
down,
count
baby
you
boy.
in. 3, 2, 1, go.
Just say what you're thinking. Iron Man confirmed. Just say it.
Oh, there's a shield. Right off the bat, they don't even shy away.
I swear to God, I'm gonna flip this table.
Oh man,
It's so good.
Is he
I'd
in
be scared of
Cap's
that thing
apartment?
too. I'd be scared of that thing too. He's got the bag. Okay.
I'm doing my best to not look at Hector right now.
It's Sam.
Oh.
This has to be subtle. Subtle. Got it.
This is my favorite Falcon suit.
That's so
This
cool.
Falcon suit is like the closest it's been to the comics so far.
Those
And it's
wings are fantastic.
it's pretty sleek, dude.
That pack is very Starky.
I got eyes on a plane.
Uh-oh.
Tu as vu ça?
SpaghettiOs.
Tu viens de voir un homme sur le pare-brise.
It's our boy Batroc.
C'est moi qui tuerai.
Yeah.
Zalipa.
Batroc Zalipa.
Uh-oh. Yeah, how does he handle Batroc versus Steve?
Right.
Score is by Henry Jackman, so it feels very
Oh, yes.
Winter Soldier,
That
Civil War.
excites me. I love the score for Civil War and
Great.
Winter Soldier. I mean, this is this man's
They
forte.
just entered Falcon's space. Like, why are you gonna do that? You literally entered the place where he's deadliest.
Yeah. That is horrifying. I remember in Iron Man 3, they did the airplane stunt for real, and that was super impressive. Yeah, it definitely looks like some of this was done practically in some form or fashion.
I think those wingsuit guys might be practical. Yeah, that's a practical.
Man, this is gonna be a fun BTS to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wish this was in 3D.
Dude, that's what I was just thinking. This would look so good with depth.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Little birdie's deadly.
Yeah, I like how he talks to it like it's a real animal bird.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
"Deadwing,
right.
Get him off my ass.
Wow. Wow.
Jeez.
He's not gonna follow.
Nah, he's not gonna.
That's what you think, bro.
What's up?
Yes. Uh-oh.
Ooh, did he shoot him in the back?
Oh! Nice.
Yo, Falcon is a badass.
Yeah, baby.
Oh! Nice.
So cool, man. Did Falcon just become my favorite?
Yup.
That was really cool.
I was reading one of the Marvel movie art books, and they talked about how when they were designing Falcon, that they wanted him to feel as though he had more maneuverability than Iron Man with his wings and, being able to retract them, extend
Retract
them.
the wings and then extend them.
You know.
Yeah.
Steve represented the best in all of us. The
Rhodey.
world has been
best.
forever changed.
Oh, was it Rhodey?
Thank you, Captain America.
I love that he says that, and there's no ounce of
But this belongs to you.
sarcasm in that. It's Mackey's an amazing actor. Anthony Mackey's an amazing actor, and this is going to showcase that.
They're gonna put it in a museum. I see.
Yeah,
Cap didn't give you that to put it in a museum, homeboy.
I know, but did you see how Rhodey was taking that in and really thinking about it, thinking about what he was saying?
Thinking about it.
Look at that! I love the Rhodey and
Rhodey
Sam.
and Sam. This is so good.
Rhodey's about to learn him something.
So you're gonna make me ask, why didn't you take up the mantle?
When Steve first told me about the shield, the first words I said were, feels like it belongs to someone else. That someone else is Steve.
But it doesn't, though. Belongs to Sam. And remember, Rhodey was here for the 5 years.
Yeah.
But Sam was not.
Yeah.
It's a new day, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Being tough.
I love this. I want more of this relationship because it's like it's very different than when we saw him in Civil War and you know.
It's so different. I mean, it's so different from Iron Man and Cap.
Yeah.
Just very different.
Yeah. But there are two men in the military, and they're black men in the they
exactly.
have probably
That's what
more in
makes it
common
so
than
different.
most Avengers characters. Period.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I want to spend more time with them talking to one
They
another.
come from very similar universes. I know we've moved on from that scene, but I'm gonna be thinking about that
I
scene
know.
the whole time.
Yeah,
It's
that's
wonderful.
So good.
Scene.
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
A little flash-o-bacco?
I certainly hope so, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
Straight up murdering people. He's just trying to get to his room.
God, oh
Bucky,
no.
leave him alone.
These
The
are
reason
the
the
memories that
Winter's-
haunt Bucky.
Bucky.
Yes. So he didn't leave anybody alive.
He would like to take you out on a date, maybe to bingo or a night of Pinnacle.
Definitely bingo.
Okay.
Tomorrow night then.
Mr. Barnes.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I have a shift, but if you want to come back here, I should be done around 10.
Time to dust off that 100-year-old Winter Soldier, you know what I'm saying?
I haven't danced since 1943.
Oh, man.
Feels like.
No one's saying you got to dance, homie.
Yeah.
Go play bingo.
Oh
Oh, man.
He had a job with a consulting company. And he was working abroad, and he was killed. The police said, wrong place, wrong time, but
Bucky killed this guy's son and is now friends with this guy.
Son of
Oof. Oof. I'm really loving the fact that even though the show started with very high octane action,
yes.
we are spending now the time.
We're
Like we've
just breathing,
established the
baby.
tone, and now we're
Yeah.
breathing, and now we're letting
Yeah.
the audience understand who is Bucky, who is Sam.
and what they're dealing with.
Uncle Sam!
Uncle Sam.
That's the uncle you want to have.
Save the world again? No, come on, Carlos. You know I'm around here more than you, man. I'm always repping no. When you gonna let me borrow the
He wants
Yes.
to
Freaking let me
win.
borrow the wings,
Yes.
man. I love this first episode because we talked about this. This is what happened with WandaVision. Everybody fell in love with Wanda and Vision. I want
That's the point of these shows.
this to do that for Sam and Bucky. I also think that in this episode is the best Sebastian Stan has been as this character. Period.
hey,
Uh-oh.
what are you doing here?
Oh, that's brutal. He's going to be on the atonement list.
God, I owed you for lunch.
He's not ready.
No, it's heartbreaking, dude. It's gonna make me cry.
That's
this old guy.
tough, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think for Bucky too, you know, he's realizing a lot about, you know, his own life
Yeah.
and how
Yeah.
he basically was like sucked into
Yeah.
World War II and he never came home again.
That's like
Absolutely.
the tales of
Never came
Bossing
home.
Say, dog. That's like that's giving me Uncle Iroh vibes.
I
You
know.
don't know this yet, but
Switzerland.
that
not
looks a lot
Prague,
like Prague. That looks a lot like Prague, but it's not.
But this is set in Switzerland. I don't know where it's shot.
Yeah.
That could be Prague.
I'm about to get real salty right now. Okay.
Who's this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is all Prague.
Yeah, I bet you they did shoot this in Prague.
I'm pretty sure we
It's-
stayed at that place right there.
It's easier to just shoot everything in Prague and set dress
And
it.
it's
I don't know how jurisdiction works here, but I don't have to place you under arrest.
Why'd you creep up on him like that?
Oh yeah, I know those cobblestone roads. Ooh.
remember that dude has powers, and the dude on the floor does not.
Yeah.
Your boy got worked.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep thinking, did you used to play for LSU? I mean, do I know you from somewhere?
I don't know, do you?
I do, but where? I know Falcon. Yes.
Love it. Approved.
You have
Good
no
question.
income over the last 5 years.
How can you have income if you don't exist?
Sure, but these days, with everyone just showing up, well, things tighten up.
Funny how things always tighten around us.
Mm-hmm.
You hate to see it. It's
Yeah.
tough.
I was actually thinking about this for no reason whatsoever. Just the other day, I was like, I wonder if in the MCU we'll ever address how these superheroes actually
Get
earn a
paid.
living. These Avengers characters, yeah, we've never seen them other than like
Yeah.
Iron Man, maybe.
So this is the leader of the Flag Smashers, huh?
Yeah, real
nice guy.
I don't want this guy to die.
No, I like this guy.
This liaison, yeah.
On behalf of the Department of Defense, join me in welcoming your new Captain America.
No.
Boo this man, everybody.
What?
No.
Boo this man.
No. This is not Captain America.
No, who's this?
U.S. agent.
Who's this imposter?
John Walker.
Imposter.
Oh,
That's the
that
shield.
sucks, dude. That sucks.
gotta hurt.
He winked at us like this mother.
No. Like, yeah, I got this. Wait, was that it?
Oh, that's it. Oh, what?
I was running into another WandaVision
Yep.
situation.
Oh,
yep.
Dang it.
Man, that went by so fast.
It does. It does.
I mean, right off the bat, you know, we talked about it a little bit. The thing that I'm already loving from this is we've spent time with Bucky and Sam. Like,
Yeah.
you understood what you needed to know about those characters for the roles they
Right.
played in the movies.
Right.
Yep.
Now going forward into phase 4 and expanding that universe, and like they were saying in the show, bring in new heroes, do new things. I think it's very much earned and very much needed to go now into the deeper psyche of these characters and to understand
Absolutely.
what really makes them tick. And I think we're really getting that from both Sam and Buck. Like, the show rests on their shoulders, and you have to be completely on board, and you have to be rooting for them and behind them. And not that people weren't before, you know, like people love Falcon and Bucky. Now the pressure and the weight is much greater than it was before because Cap's not around. Steve's
I
gone.
like what this show is doing because as kooky and weird as WandaVision was, this feels grounded, but in a fresh way. Like it feels good because you're like, oh yeah, I never thought about what does somebody do to get paid in this line of work? Like, what are the mental ramifications of being a brainwashed soldier for years, you know? And I honestly, like, as much as I loved WandaVision, I think I'm gonna love this just as much because it's that deep dive that we've all been looking for because we've spent time in the buggy with Winter Soldier and Falcon, and they had that cool moment of like, "Can you scoot up?" He goes, "No."
Yeah.
And like, and this is it. It's going to be interesting to see where they come together too, because right now their stories are completely apart,
diverging,
and
they're
diverging, and it's great.
Yeah, and I actually really like that element. And I was catching like a little bit of some of the interviews that Feige was doing, and I forget who it was. It might have been like Get Fandom or somebody put out some tweets that were just basic bullet points of like, it takes place 6 months later. Sam and Bucky are on diverging paths. Like, they're not, when we meet them in the show, they're not together. And I like that. I like the fact that the remaining Avengers characters, after, you know, they defeat Thanos and all that stuff, they go on their own. And we see that from Wanda too. Like, Wanda's completely like on her own. She's doing her own thing. She's in her own world.
A little scattered. What's going to be really interesting is that Wanda was such a isolated event, and it was all based around her trauma, that there was no time to like check in with the rest of the world. But this show feels like it's going to take the time, you know, the progression of time. We're not locked in a fantasy hex world. It's about
It's going to show
how
us
Sam
like
is
the bigger ramifications.
Yeah. So we may see what the update is for like the Avengers, if the Avengers still exist. They must still be at the new Avengers compound, upstate New York, right? Where we last saw them. Like, is Rhodey and the Falcon, are they Avengers? Is Winter Soldier an Avenger? Like, what's the status and where are they? And I loved seeing Rhodey in this. And again, that's a highlight scene for me from this
Prague
first episode.
unit.
Yeah, they shot in Prague. Was that I hope Rhodey comes back. I have a feeling that this series is going to end with Sam taking the shield and Rhodey being a real person to be like, hey, Tony's not here, Steve's not here, but this world needs an Iron Man and a Captain America, and that's me and you, baby. Let's do this. And I'm like, yes, please.
That's absolutely how I feel. And I mean, I think that's really what made the scene with Rhodey and Sam so impactful, was you absolutely think about the fact that it's not that you didn't realize it before, but it's seeing it in person. You're realizing these guys are basically Iron Man and Cap. You know, these are the next generation, the next step, the next evolution of that. You know, they're the new Avengers who potentially could lead the new team into battle, or have like be a very huge influence on that. And you know, just seeing him retire the shield to the Smithsonian, and then seeing the shield given to U.S. agent, and
some ding dong over here.
Yeah, like just the expression of it all. You know, it really makes you understand that this is a big responsibility to be Captain America.
It's a
And
huge
Sam feels
responsibility, and Sam is very fearful of it at this point, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Because he had that very special moment where he said that the embodiment was basically Steve. Like Steve is Captain America, and there is, the ideal of it is important, but he said it was Steve, but it's not, and he doesn't realize it yet. And it's something he's going to have to deal with in the show, and that's what he's going to have to find.
You're absolutely right, Augustine. He also said the world needs new types of heroes. So when he was saying that, it felt like, I don't think he was trying to dismiss what Steve did, but he also said to Rhodey, look, there was nobody carrying the shield for the 70 years where Steve was gone. We did okay. And I think Sam is realistic about what that world, what the MCU is, and it's supposed to, it's just a metaphor for our world. What our world today, what kinds of heroes it needs. And I think Sam was also trying to almost honor Steve by being like, hey, your time was amazing. You were here from 2011 to 2023. That's a solid 12-year run. Thank you, sir. And now we need different types of heroes. And he's Falcon. And I think you're right, Augustine. By the end of this series, he's going to realize that he does embody what it means to be Captain America. And he's going to take that identity, but he's going to be like, but this is how Sam does it. And he'll be that
exactly.
He'll be that winged Captain America, hybrid, this almost like American Eagle type character.
Well, you talk a lot about well, I mean, I know you guys have like talked about the comic books and sort of like the sliding timeline, how they always tend to try to the best of their ability kind of stay in real time. And I think for the MCU specifically, of course, it is very important to make sure that as the MCU continues to progress, it is constantly representing the world that it's existing in. And I think Steve Rogers being the first Captain America and all of that, everything that he brings from like the old world, the classic, what people consider like very like classic America, all those values and things, like bringing that to the modern era. But then Sam, taking the best parts of that and making it his own and ushering us into the new era of what a modern day Captain America would be. Is really cool, because I mean, Steve tried so much to try to be a more modern Captain America, more modern day hero.
And there's only so much you can do.
There's only so much you can do. 1, and 2, you can't change who you are. And 3, we made fun of him even when he did try. So so you really, I think that's that's what's exciting about Sam becoming Captain America, is he can bring those modern day sensibilities and what it means today to be Captain America and what modern America is, and not have the weight of what the old America was, in World War II. And I think that's a really interesting angle, and that's a really interesting responsibility. And I think also for Bucky, how does he adapt to that? That's going to be interesting too.
He's of that old world. But talking to the writer and director, they were saying how this show is going to tackle how racism sometimes is a part of nationalism, and that those topics are going to be addressed in this show, which is really, really exciting. I think that the bank scene was them dipping their toes into like, okay, sure, billions of people came back, so everything's tightened up, but like, how often does this bank tighten up with certain families in NOLA versus other families? I also want to talk about, and I just want to see more of that, and I think we will see more, especially when it comes to this new Captain America identity, this character who shows up. But what did you guys make of the Bucky storyline in this episode? It blew me away. I was so surprised that he was A, making amends, B, had this relationship with this old guy, and then you learn like, oh my God, it's because he killed his son. And he's and he just is just going through it right now. I thought it was great. I think
it's great. I think it's not a story that I am very familiar with, only because I've never had or known very many people that have military experience. But it's a story that you hear over and over again of people coming back with PTSD and not necessarily having the proper treatment for it, or not seeking help, or whatever it is that, like continues that PTSD. And how do you deal with something as traumatic as war, as brutal, possibly killing people? Like, we see it on movies and we normalize it all the time, but it's not something that I can never imagine myself doing. Like, it takes a very brave person to go and put their life in danger like that, and it really does mess with people. Like, it's a very traumatic and life-changing experience, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they're going to do with this. I know we kind of saw it, and we forget about the show a little bit sometimes, but The Punisher We kind of saw the Punisher deal with that kind of stuff in a specific Punisher style way. I'm hoping Bucky doesn't head down that route at all. I'm hoping Bucky, does a little bit better and continues to go to therapy. But I think it's really cool how they're tackling. It's almost like both sides of the spectrum. It's like somebody who has the experience of being a Black American, and then somebody who is a soldier but has had weird MCU stuff happen to him, so it's gonna be weird. I think it's gonna be fun.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah. And I think ultimately those experiences are the things that are gonna unite Bucky and Sam. The fact that they are soldiers, even though they're soldiers from different eras. I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunities for them to be of a similar mindset for certain things. And of course they'll probably have disagreements. Like we've seen some fun clips of them bantering back and forth. But I think that's gonna be really interesting to see of how does Sam deal with it as a man living in modern America? How does Bucky deal with it as a veteran who was a part of World War II, and he was a prisoner, he was a POW, essentially, and being a POW changed his life drastically. He became he literally took on a new identity, became a different person.
And then time traveled, basically.
I think that's super, super interesting to see how we deal with that. Because again, Steve was a very different type of character. He was the all-American Boy Scout who didn't go through the trauma that Bucky went through. So when it came to PTSD, I feel like we used a little bit more of Tony to kind of be that anchor of PTSD after the whole event, the Battle of New York.
Iron Man
Whereas
3,
with Captain America, with Steve, we didn't really get that. It was always like, it's about the mission, it's about moving forward, it's about making people, making sure everybody is safe, making sure that we're safe, all that stuff.
The most we got, I feel like, is when we saw him affected by like Scarlet Witch the first time he went up against her in Avengers Age of Ultron, and he saw these visions of like not being able to go home. That's his trauma.
Exactly.
Is that he could not even go home because here's Peggy,
dance.
but then Peggy is he missed his chance. And I am in total agreement with you, Adam. It's going to be great to see that stuff maybe explored in this show. Last thing I want to say is I talked to co-executive producer, head writer Malcolm Spellman, and he told me that if you know the comic books, if you're familiar with sort of what these guys' stories do and some of the Marvel Comics universe, that he said episode 2 for comics people, they're going to see something that's going to make you go like, oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're doing this. So I am extremely. I'm not trying to jump in, full on tinfoil hat the way we were doing for WandaVision. Like, I don't know if we're gonna see a Chris Evans cameo. That where it's a new scene that was shot, whether it's a flashback or something. I don't know if we're gonna get big sort of characters like that.
Dude, we got Rhodey.
Rhodey was
huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. Anything is possible. I'm also just excited about Zemo coming back. Sharon Carter being in the mix. I don't know if we'll see Batroc again. That was cool, but like even if we see him again, that would be great.
But no, did he die?
No,
I don't remember.
He got out.
He got out.
He got out.
Okay.
Yeah, he jumped out on his little wingsuit and flew away. So
they fly like a birdie.
He went to go to a cafe.
I also just want to point out that I think the thing that I really liked about this episode was, and this was kind of the case with WandaVision too, is, and this seems to be sort of the theme going forward with these shows, is they're totally okay with taking a full episode to establish the characters. And I think if they would have put Baron Zemo and Sharon Carter and just all these things, it's already too much. And it's like the first episode, let's really focus on the two main pivotal characters of the story. And then when we get to episode 2, now that we understand, now we have the context of the world, we can push forward, and now we can bring in, like they did at the very end, which I thought was great, U.S. agent, and then I'm sure Zemo, and then I'm sure Sharon Carter will show up. So I like the pacing.
If
I really like the pacing.
If you kind of think about how we would complain so much about the Netflix Daredevil's show and all that stuff that happened, they had to fulfill a certain quota with a certain amount of episodes, and sometimes that left filler episode. Disney Plus doesn't have to do any of that.
They can do whatever they want.
They just tell their story. WandaVision, 30-minute episodes, 9 weeks. Like that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, 6 1-hour episodes. That's a 6-hour movie. And judging by these VFX, they're not skimping. Like they're going for it. And have we ever seen a 6-hour long movie? Maybe not, but this looks like it might be something along those lines, you know?
Yeah. Lord of the Rings, 9-hour film.
Okay, well, if you count that, yes. I mean, the greatest triumph in cinema history, yes. That's
Well, that was super fun, guys. I'm glad that
Very
we're all
good.
caught up now, and I'm
sure.
so excited that like the internet's going to see it. We're going to get to talk about this episode for a week, and then just anticipate.
I want to see all the
it's going to be great.
excitement.
Yeah.
It'll be
It's
so
gonna
good.
be awesome.
Guys, let us know your thoughts on the premiere episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What are you excited to see in the future? What did you think about the setup for Falcon and for Bucky, their storylines? If Switzerland is Prague for this whole show, I will flip this table by episode 6, I promise you. If Prague is not Prague for at least one goddamn episode, I will email Kevin Feige
What if
and
they
tell him how
rename
mad
this
I
to
am.
Peter's Bridge, Adam?
I'm sure that it's too tempting not to showcase the beauty that is Prague.
the best.
Don't worry.
That was the one nice thing about
show
Spider-Man
it.
Far From Home. It was like, oh, we're going to Prague. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let us know your
They had
thoughts below.
yeah.
Check out the uncut reactions if you haven't already. Subscribe, and we'll catch you next week.